Welcome back, you beautiful souls, to a Halloween special that many of you have requested. Many of you have asked for a symbiote. What if Izuku had venom? What if Izuku had a symbiote? And to all you ghouls and gals, I welcome you back.
Sorry about that little bit of an introduction. So, as I posted, it's pretty obvious that most of you will want toxin or whatever you name, whatever the community comes up with. You want toxin to awaken before. Now I know there's one other YouTuber that has done it where it was the actual toxin symbiote. In this, I'm changing a little bit with the symbiote that Izuku has. First off, it's going to be the last of its kind. Well, for now. There may, in the future, I'm not going to say like very soon in the series, but this symbiote may be able to reproduce at some point. I'm not too sure on that yet, but so with this, I'm going to try to get this recorded at work, so pardon me if there are interruptions at all throughout like the recording. If so, you know what that's for. I had a guest come in and I have to like stop the recording and deal with the guest. So that being said, our story begins many years before the start of MHA, before our story meets up with Izuku. There's a boat heading to Japan, carrying a very, very special cargo, carrying something that's the last of its kind, marked for delivery to a Toshi Y at XXX address. Unfortunately, the boat will never make it to Japan. It's caught in a freak storm and it capsizes. Its cargo is lost at sea. This cargo was coming from the US. So this is how this container that has a very, very special cargo will one day be found by a very special boy. So now, sorry about that. There was a wreck just happened. Okay. Sorry about that. We skip to about 4 months into Izuku's training with All Might. Izuku finds a weird container. As he grabs it and move it into like a trash bag. As he puts it into it, it kind of cracks and Izuku can feel warm liquid like drip off of his hands, and Deku screams out in pain. All Might comes running over and Izuku pulls his hand out and the liquid is completely off of his hand as far as like Izuku, but he is bleeding a little bit. So, All Might asks, like, what happened to Izuku? And so, in this, all the events that happened, like, in canon up until this point, 4 months into the training, has happened. Like, so that's why I'm starting this at this point, because there's literally nothing besides that little excerpt at the beginning of the video that changes. In the changes to a certain hero, I will go over later on in the series. Well, later on in the video. So when All Might like comes over, he notices Izuku is cut, and then he's like, "Young Midoriya, are you really okay?" And Izuku says, "Oh, I'm fine. fine. I'm fine, All Might. It's just I found like this weird glass thing, and like it kind of cracked as I was putting it into the bag, and I cut myself. Unbeknownst to Izuku and Deku, that warm liquid wasn't liquid. It was the remnants of a living creature. A symbiote, if you will. And it was literally on the verge of death. If it would have stayed in that container for too much longer, it could have just died. So the symbiote is is in a very weakened state. So Izuku gets his hand bandaged up, and All Might says, I think you should head home for today, Izuku, and get that really checked out. So he gets home, and Inko sees the bandage on his hand because he did stop by a clinic on the way home and got it looked at, and they just kind of bandaged it up. And they told him that he should try to avoid getting it wet, and if he needs to use his hand, he should probably wear a glove to protect it from moisture, because otherwise it could get infected. You know, just basic things that you would do when you get a cut. Inko freaks out a little bit, and she's like, Izuku, baby, are you okay? And Deku goes, yeah, Mom, I'm okay. During training, I kind of cut my hand, and I went by the hospital. They said it's fine. I just need to keep it dry while it heals. Otherwise, it can get infected. And Inko asks, what were you doing? And what were you doing that you would get cut? And Izuku says, well, I've been helping clean up trash, like, on a beach. And Inko's like, is it safe? And Izuku says, yeah, Mom, it's safe. It's just, since I figured I would do something nice for, like, the neighborhood, you know? And Inko's like, okay, baby, if you want, just be safe, okay? Be careful with what you grab. And, well, you know what? I'll be back. I'm going to go to the store and get you some work gloves. Izuku's like, oh, God, that was close. I almost had to tell him All Might. So Izuku's mom comes back. She has some groceries because when she was out, she realized she needed a few things. And so she also wanted to cook something special because Izuku got hurt, and wanted to, like, really lift his spirits because he has seemed to be doing better mentally, and he has seemed to be happier, but it seems like he's been tired a lot lately. So she wanted to, like, make him a meal that was very invigorating and full of, like, protein and nutrition, like a very, very like a high nutritious meal. Yes, it is plot convenience for this. So she tells Izuku that she got these, and she shows him, and he hugs his mom and he says, "Thanks, Mom. This is actually perfect, and they're waterproof. Nice." And Inko says, yeah, well, the doctor said that you needed to keep it dry, and I figured with you being near the beach, there'd probably be like wet trash and everything, and salt water's a lot worse for, like, wounds than fresh water, so I figured I'd get something that's a little bit waterproof. Izuku hugs his mom and says, thank you. And she says, well, why don't you go upstairs and finish up some homework? It will be about 30 minutes to an hour before, like, dinner's ready. So Inko goes into the kitchen and starts making dinner. Izuku goes up to his room, and he starts feeling slightly weird, like his arm feels weird. Like it's not in pain, but it's not. It just like his arm feels a bit off. And the feeling like slowly like moves up into like his chest, and he gets a little panicked, but then like the weird sensation subsides. So he doesn't think much about it, so he pulls out his notebook and he writes down like a few things that he learned about All Might. Because I would say, I'm sure, I do believe in canon All Might would have gone over some kind of like hero theory with Izuku while he's moving trash. You know, like the scene where he's sitting up on like was it a washing machine or I believe it was either a washing machine or a fridge. Matter of fact, if you know what it is, comment down below. But I'm fairly certain it was a fridge. It could have been a washing machine. And Izuku was pulling it. I'm pretty sure in moments like that, All Might would have gone over some kind of like hero theory stuff. You know, like things, what it meant to be a hero. Like really going over some like basic stuff with Izuku. So he was writing like some notes down and everything, and then he pulls out like some schoolwork and finishes it up. And this is like towards the end of the year, so he doesn't have that much homework, but he still has to study for like for exams and stuff. And then he also has eventually like the UA entrance exams to like study for too. So he's already started doing some of that. In not too long, he hears like Inko like call him down, and he comes down and he's like surprised. He's like, "Whoa, Mom, this is a lot of food." And she's like, "Well, I've noticed you've been really tired lately, sweetie, in the afternoons, and you've been cleaning up trash. I figured you'd need a little bit boost of energy." So she could make it even like loads of stuff. Like there's like pork rolls, there's Wagyu beef stew, and there's a bunch of other like veggies and stuff like that. And Izuku's like he kind of starts salivating a little bit. So he eats his meal and he thanks his mom. He thanks his mom for the meal. And he goes up and he goes to sleep. So through the night, like Izuku is tossing and turning, and yeah, something's starting to bond with him. Out of pure instinct, not out of will. Sorry about that. So he's tossing and turning throughout the night, and so this doesn't really play too much into it. So Izuku will, over the next month or so, he begins to have weird dreams, as though he's watching All Might in his heyday, like as in his time when he was in the US, and he's just having these dreams. I'm fairly certain Izuku would have seen like images of All Might when he was in the US because of how big of a fanboy he was. So he doesn't really think too much about this. And this is slowly the symbiote's memories seeping in to Izuku. So we're going to skip to about the 5-month mark in a few days. That night, Izuku is feeling like he's not feeling tired. If anything, he's actually starting to feel exhilarated and full of energy, because his mom has like been making really nutritious meals for him, because after that first night, and the next day when he came home, he was full. It seemed like he was doing better. So she was like, "Oh yes, good mom moment." Like she thought like the meals she started prepping for him, and like lunches she was preparing for him, were doing the trick. And Izuku thought that too. He's like, thank you, Mom. And he was thinking, it's like, ooh, so the nutrition plan, was right about it, but I guess because I've been doing a little bit extra work, I should have taken that into account. Such an idiot is the kind of the thought process that would go through Izuku's head. So we're at the 5-month mark in a few days. That night, Izuku, he has a very, very vivid dream of seeing All Might save a young man, and he recognizes who the man is. It's David's shield, like All Might's old sidekick. And so the next day when he wakes up, like, he clearly remembers this dream. It's as though he was there in person, but like he was seeing it on a screen. Like, obviously he wasn't there in person because this happened years before he was born, but Izuku, he's thinking about it like all day. This is like, because he has other things that he has to worry about. He's taking his final exams for school. Like, he's taking a final exam because he kind of missed it. Like, one day, he missed like a day of school, so he missed an exam, so he's taking a makeup exam. He's either taking a makeup exam or he's taking an exam. So he's been thinking about this, like, dream all day. So he finishes exams, and then he meets All Might in the afternoon for his training. And during it, All Might can see something's on the young boy's mind. And All Might, like, asks him, it's like, young Izuku, what's on your mind? And Izuku says, well, All Might, I had a very weird dream last night. I dreamed of when you met, your old sidekick, David Shield. Whoa, I haven't thought about that day in a while. Yeah, it was a very nice, bright, sunny day. And Izuku, like, just something inside of Izuku's head clicks, and he's like, it was very shiny. Izuku just feels like he could feel the warmth of the sun on that day. So Izuku All Might's like, you must be really a fanboy to be dreaming about me, young Izuku. And Izuku kind of laughs and is like, yeah, I'm sorry, All Might. And All Might's like, no, I take no offense, young man. Well, you still have a long ways to go. So then Izuku, he gets home, his mom already has like dinner prepped and ready for him. And he eats, and then when he gets up to his room to like do his homework, he could swear he heard a voice say, Izuku, you're not alone. And he's like, huh? And he looks around, and he's not too sure if he was just hallucinating because of like the adrenaline of the day, because he had gotten a good portion of the beach cleared, a good bit of the beach cleared up. So he did start doing some hand-to-hand combat training with All Might, basically getting his body moving and like limber, like stretching exercises, like basically All Might like standing there where Izuku has like his legs down, And he basically pushes Izuku's body down to like the ground. Just very open, like making him more limber. Because at this point, Izuku he's surprised All Might, because Izuku, he seems to be getting stronger a little bit faster than what he thought would happen. And All Might did ask him that this day, "What have you been doing, Izuku? You've developed a lot faster than what I thought you would." And Izuku then goes over what he had done, and then All Might's a little surprised. He's like, "Wow, I didn't think, well, I did do that, but it was very precise, but you seem to take into account the extra strain on your body, and you've been eating better than what I even had planned. Very good, young Izuku. You really are impressive. You are working a lot harder than most do. Hell, even harder than what I thought you should. Well, as long as you don't overdo yourself, and seems like you aren't, keep up the good work, young man." So that had happened earlier the day, and then he hears it again. "Izuku, you're not alone." Just slightly louder. And then this time, Izuku is getting a little creeped out by this. And he's like, he looks around again, and then he just kind of brushes it off. And then and then he hears,
"Damn it, kid, stop ignoring me. You're not alone."
And then he's like, "Whoa, who's there?" And then all of a sudden he sees a weird reddish black sludge start coming off of like his arms. And then a head forms, and he's like, Izuku freaks out, and he's like, "Whoa, what the hell? What are you?" The sludge, like the face, like then forms, and it says,
Like I said, kid, you're not alone. There's a lot we need to discuss. I didn't think it would be possible, but you've been slowly."
God, after the Izuku video, I just my voice is completely shot doing those raspy stuff, so I'm gonna change it up a little bit.
"Listen, kid, there's a lot that we need to discuss. I was originally supposed to go to him. That's kind of funny how luck happens. Oh well. Don't be worried, kid. You're not the one that's been... Your new workout regimen isn't what's been making you stronger. It's been me. I'm sorry about the cut on your hand."
And Izuku looks at his hand, and he's like, "Wait, what do you mean by you're sorry for the cut on my hand?" And then Izuku sees like a claw form, like one of his hands like forms. There's like some claws form, and this creature says,
"Well, some people in the past called my kind a parasite. Just like my psychotic parent and my murderous asshole of a grandparent. I like to be called a symbiote. I was in that container, and, well, I almost died. And I want to thank you. Without you, I most likely would have died."
And Izuku's mom did like hear him kind of scream out, because he did yelp. One moment. All right, recording. Sorry. Oh yeah, we were right there. Okay, so we where I left off was Toxin came out, then he said that, then Izuku freaked out. Oh yeah, screaming part. So Izuku did scream out when he at this, and he like Inko comes up, and she's like, Izuku, are you okay, baby? And Izuku's like, yeah, Mom, I'm okay. I just saw something online and like got a little scared. I'm sorry. And she's like, okay, baby. And Dawson's like,
Why did you hide my... You could have told her.
and Mizuki's like, yeah, but you said you were called a parasite. Why?
Well, my kind, we... let's just say thanks to that creature, your mother, with all the extra food you've been eating, did you think it was odd that you were starving a lot more? Unlike my predecessors and others of my kind in the past, I refuse to eat human flesh. I refuse to eat my host. I do have to sustain myself off of certain chemicals that your body produces, but once you get that quirk, it probably won't be... I'll probably be able to do more for you. Unfortunately, all I've been able to do for you, Izuku, is help your body recover from damage a little bit faster.
And Izuku begins to think, and he's like, wait, are you just... Is this a joke, or are you my quirk? And Toxin kind of laughs.
I'm not a quirk, kid. I'm definitely what I say. In case I don't have much more time, this is causing a lot of energy. I will talk to you later. Maybe a few more days before I can fully converse with you again.
And with that, the sludge kind of recedes, and Izuku, like, he finishes. He's freaked out. He's thinking he's losing it, because this just isn't normal. This is weird, and he doesn't know if like what had just happened was just a hallucination or what. So he goes to sleep, and he has that same dream again where All Might saves like David's shield, but this time he can sense it. He can feel the warmth on his skin, like what the smell of that day, the car exhaust that went by, the fire, like the building, like the taste of concrete in your mouth. And so the next day, like Izuku, he's really thinking about this, and so over the next couple of days, he's thinking he's going a little bit mad, but he's not entirely sure about it. So after, I'd say about another week, he wakes up and he feels a warm liquid on his hands. And he looks down and he just sees black claws, and he like freaks out, and he's like, ah! And Inko was walking by her room, and she like basically burst in, and she sees like his hands, and she's like, Izuku, did your quirk come in? And this is when that monstrous head pops out of like Izuku's shoulder. And he's like, finally, the bonding process was complete. Oh, crap. Izuku, I didn't plan for this. Miss Midoriya, don't be alarmed. Izuku's totally fine. If anything, he's going to be really good. Don't freak out. At that, Inko just falls back and faints. And Izuku's just looking over, and he's like, now realizing that wasn't a dream, because he had started to think that was a dream. And he's like, that really happened. And Toxin's like, Izuku, calm down. You're safe. I won't let any harm come to you. You're my host now. Though I'm still weak. If anything, please calm down. You're flooding your body with chemicals. Izuku takes a few deep breaths, and then he's like, what's going on with my hands? That's a little thing that I can do for you. As like he starts to feel a warm liquid. One moment, I have a guest coming in, I think. Sorry about the interruption. Inko fainting, Izuku kind of freaking out. So Izuku, he takes a couple of deep breaths, and he's like, so that wasn't a dream. Yes, Izuku, it wasn't a... Sorry. Yes, Izuku, that wasn't a dream. It's good to actually be able to talk to you. Face to face. So, Toxin goes over it, and it goes over again that he truly is a symbiote. He doesn't like to be called a parasite. And he explains to him about his particular needs. And Izuku freaks out. I can't do that. And Toxin goes, I would never ask you to. The meals that mother has been fixing for us has been very, very delicious. Has been helping out. Speaking of which, we should probably get her to the living room. This is going to be very eye-opening for her. And so after about 30 minutes or so, Inko wakes up to Izuku bringing tea over. And she's like, Izuku, what happened? Last thing I remembered, you had claws. And she looks at Izuku, and he does it, and she's like, baby, do you have a quirk? And then Toxin kind of produces a small head minus the things and everything, and he basically goes, oh, Miss Midoriya, mother, I'm sorry. Yes, Izuku has quirk now. And I'm going to say it was an hour. So over this hour, Izuku and Toxin kind of talked, and Toxin quickly came up with a plan to basically explain and play it off that Izuku, his quirk came in. So Ingo's ecstatic, and she's like, my baby has a quirk? And Izuku's like, he hates doing this, but he lies to his mother, and he's like, yeah, apparently my quirk was dormant and sentient, slightly. Everything's fine, Mom. I scheduled an appointment to, go see a doctor. And about this, and to get a quirk update. Get my quirk registration updated. So, with that, Ingo is really happy, and she's like, baby, this cause, what do you want to eat? And then Toxin kind of says,
Steak. Wagyu steak. Lots and lots of steak.
Ingo's a little taken aback by this, and she's like, your quirk can talk? Yeah, Mom, I've been having weird dreams for several months now, and ever since you started cooking really good food, I think that's what the catalyst for my quirk was. It just needed a little push, and I needed to train to activate it. This means you can be a hero, baby. And Izuku's like, yeah, I guess so, but I should really get going. The only opening that they had was anytime soon to do this was today. So Izuku, he asked, Inko asked, baby, do you want me to come with you? And Izuku's like, I'm fine, Mom. Aren't you supposed to be meeting up with Dad later on today? Or you had something? You had that conference call with Dad today. That's what it was. Sorry. I'm tired. It's just baby, are you sure you're okay? And Izuku's like, yeah, it's just, adrenaline, I have a quirk, And Izuku kind of chuckles, and Inko's eyeing this, and she's like, okay, baby, well, be safe, and keep your phone on you, and keep it active, and if you're not feeling well on the way there, do give me a call, and I'll be right there, okay? Izuku's like, yeah, okay, Mom. So Izuku goes, and he does go to, a doctor, so it's not a complete lie. They do, some minor testing. Izuku shows off that he can produce claws, and that his quirk is somewhat sentient, and he has heightened strength and agility. Later on, this is going to help explain everything. So he does get the quirk registration card and the updated stuff. So I would say this is Izuku's rest day from his workout. So he spends the day actually eventually Toxin is actually speaking to him in his mind, and Toxin's like,
Izuku, we should wait till All Might. I have something very special planned for that. It's going to be funny.
And Izuku's like, what do you mean?
Well, Izuku, like I said, I was originally supposed to go to him.
Wait, he knows about you? And Toxin's like,
not exactly. He just thinks there was an incident that happened many years ago. And if you wouldn't have found me, I would have died. It just so happens that he also chose you for that quirk one for all.
And Izuku's like, how do you know about that?
Like I said, Izuku, we're bonded. We have true symbiosis. Like I said, I'm a symbiote. But for now, I need to rest. But keep this between you and your mom.
So, over the next, I would say we're at the 5.5 month mark. I would say like another month and a half goes by, so we would be at the 7 month mark. Izuku has completely cleared the beach, and he meets All Might like the next day after getting it done. And All Might is like smiling, and he's like,
Young man, you've exceeded my expectations. You've cleared this beach a full 3 months before what I thought you would.
And Izuku like Chopper's like, yeah, I kind of had a little help with that. And All Might puzzled, and then he's like, what is it that you wanted to speak about, young man? And before you got the quirk, before you inherited my power. And Izuku's like, well, there's someone that wanted to meet you, and we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to tell you. And All Might's like, what do you mean by we? And then Toxin comes out, and he's like,
it's finally good to finally truly meet you, Toshinori Yagi.
And All Might kind of jumps back, and he's like,
whoa, Izuku, I thought you were quirkless.
And Toxin says,
the boy is definitely quirkless, Toshi.
And then All Might then says, wait, the way you're talking, the way that...
What? It can't be. Toxin, is that you?
And Izuku's like, so you do know what he is. And All Might's like, but how is this possible? You died.
Not quite, Toshi. I almost did, but... you remember when Izuku cut his hand? My embryonic state was working on pure instinct. If I would have sensed you, I would have latched to you. Because of that, on your side. But unfortunately, I can't help with that anymore. I've bonded with young Izuku. And you're correct. He definitely is worthy of that quirk.
So, needless to say, some conversations and stuff start happening. All Might is just baffled. See, all those years ago, All Might was contacted by an old hero that had seen some of his exploits, and this hero was fairly unknown. He rarely did hero work. I mean, he only came in when some pretty nasty things were happening. And a lot of the times, the bad guys didn't get away in one piece. Not that Toxin, ate them or anything. It's, yeah, they would get some broken bones here and there. So, All Might is just baffled, and he's like,
so, this is very interesting, Toxin. You were supposed to come with me to help me defeat that bastard.
And Toxin's like,
yeah, all for what? If you would have gotten a hold of me in my embryo state, it's a good thing, unlucky and lucky at the same time that I, by chance, got bonded with Izuku.
And Izuku produces, the quirk registration papers, and he's like, I've already registered him as my quirk, so I'm sorry, All Might, I can't take it. And both Toxin's like, what?
You're denying that power?
And Izuku's like, yeah, but wouldn't it be too crazy if I suddenly had like another quirk? And both All Might begins to laugh, and so does Toxin. And he's like,
you know, those things can be updated. You recently, by all accounts, you've only awakened your quirk a couple of months ago. So, it wouldn't be too hard to say that you didn't truly understand what your quirk was then.
And All Might says, he's definitely correct, but Izuku, you should keep his intelligence a secret. There are those out there that would hunt him down to, well, artificially make more of him. And Izuku like kind of gulps, and then All Might pulls out a hair and he says, "Eat this." And Izuku's like, "What?" He talks and then says,
"You've got to digest his DNA to get the quirk. So eat the damn hair, kid."
Izuku queasily like grabs the hair and puts it in his mouth and eats it. And Toxin says,
"I'll make sure he doesn't kill himself the first time he uses the quirk, Toshi. But the way you explain the quirk isn't right. I will deal with that. I will make sure that he doesn't die the first time, but you should learn to explain things better. Izuku, when you use the quirk, don't focus it in one part of your body. Let it flow throughout your entire body, like this."
as Toxin like basically Izuku can feel like this warm liquid expelling out of every part of his skin, and then like a suit is produced, and then Toxin then like puts his head up,
Sort of like that.
and Izuku's like, "Whoa, you can do this?" And then immediately it all resides, and Toxin's like,
"Yes, but like I said, I'm in a very weakened state. I can't do much. That actually took out a lot. So I'm going to go to sleep now. But like I said, let the quirk flow throughout your entire body, not just one point."
So, with that, you beautiful souls, I'm going to end this part here because I don't want to get this over. I will put out another part later on tonight. If at my other job things are dead, I'll try to get like another episode recorded of this. But this has been my third series for the Halloween special. So I will see you beautiful souls, you ghouls and gals and everything in between in the next video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this and how I'm doing this series. With that being said, be safe out there, you trick-or-treaters. So like I said, be safe out there, you trick-or-treaters. The whole pandemic and everything. That being said, see you in the next video.